July 13th, 1985. Nearly 2 billion people watched the largest music acts of the time, all in an effort to raise millions of dollars for the largest famine the world had ever seen. But what if I told you that without one small Twin Otter airplane, Live Aid might never have happened? In 1983, while the world went about its daily business, northern Ethiopia was dying. Drought and civil war had led to a famine affecting 8 million people, and an estimated 1 million would ultimately perish. But here's the thing, most of the world had no idea this was happening. The Ethiopian government had restricted access, and the remote locations made reporting nearly impossible. World Vision had been working in Ethiopia since 1971. By 1982, they'd even purchased their own Twin Otter cargo plane to airlift food to remote areas. They were witnessing the unfolding catastrophe firsthand, but they couldn't get the world to pay attention. This was obviously before the internet and social media. The only way to get stories out to a wide audience was the traditional media. October 19th, 1984, World Vision pilots Will Rue and Keith Ketchum received unusual orders. Instead of carrying food, they were to transport BBC journalists to the famine zone. The one pilot joked, "We despise journalists because they each weighed 70 to 75 kilos, so we would have to leave behind a bag of grain." It was an agonizing choice to make, but World Vision's leadership understood something crucial. If the world didn't know about the famine, far more people would die for lack of international response.
Just as soon as we could get to the airport, we could go on board a World Vision Twin Otter and be flown to where we needed to go.
At the time, journalists were not allowed, but relief workers were, and that's how World Vision was able to bring in BBC journalists.
So we set up a meeting in the World Vision office there in Nairobi, and we showed them this video. I remember Mike Wooldridge saying, "This is the proof of what we have in the media had been suspecting all along."
Sure enough, within hours after those discussions, we were able to board that plane and go up to and be dropped at Mekelle, and then see the worst of what is certainly the most desperate scene that I have ever seen in my life.
Dawn, and as the sun breaks through the piercing chill of night on the plain outside Coram, it lights up a biblical famine.
Michael Buerk's report aired on the BBC 6 o'clock news, reaching hundreds of millions of viewers. One of those viewers was singer Bob Geldof, watching from his London home. He saw nurse Claire Birchinger making impossible choices about which children to save.
Why does she have to decide who lives and dies?
I feel terrible because it's sending them to a certain death. It's terrible.
That moment changed everything. He recruited an all-star lineup of British and Irish musicians, and in a single 24-hour recording session, they created Do They Know It's Christmas? The song shot to #1 and became the fastest-selling single in UK history, raising £8 million in its first year. But Geldof wasn't done. He envisioned something bigger. Live Aid, a dual-venue concert that would make history. For 16 hours, 75 of the world's biggest acts performed at Wembley Stadium in London and JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. The global TV audience reached 1.9 billion people, nearly 40% of the Earth's population at the time. The concert raised $127 million, the largest sum ever raised for a single humanitarian crisis. It's really hard to overstate the impact of this event. The financial impact alone changed the direction of the crisis, but the social and cultural impact of this event still has ripple effects today. This was one of the first moments of celebrities using their platform for a cause. Every charity concert that has taken place since then can be traced back to this moment. The impact of Live Aid went beyond Ethiopia.
One day we got a call where we're going to be getting a visitor, and he was the lead singer of a group called U2.
U2's Bono, inspired by Live Aid, quietly volunteered at a World Vision feeding center in 1985.
Where the streets of Nine, what's that about? I started it in Africa when I was with my wife, and it was about the devastation that was happening in the Ethiopian famine, and I just couldn't explain it to myself.
And that experience transformed him into one of the world's leading anti-poverty advocates. World Vision's partnership with Live Aid also didn't end when the music stopped. The Band Aid Trust channeled millions through World Vision and other agencies to provide food, medicine, and long-term recovery. At the height of the crisis, World Vision operated 13 nutrition centers, serving up to 300,000 people per month. One of the most remarkable transformations happened in the Ansokia Valley, once called the Valley of Death.
Working closely with the people of Ansokia Valley, World Vision undertook large-scale soil erosion control, revegetation and tree planting work. Irrigation and training in agricultural methods were also introduced. The results have been no less than incredible, and the lives of thousands of families changed forever, especially the children's.
This transformation in Ansokia is emblematic of World Vision's long-term impact. This man is a symbol of that long-term impact. He is the one who originally alerted World Vision to the rising famine disaster in the valley.
He traveled from his village, much of it by foot, more than 350 kilometers, to Addis Ababa to alert World Vision.
He even coordinated a large group of people to build an airfield in the area, just so relief planes could land. But his help was more than short-term. When the next phase of World Vision's work began, Girma helped provide land for a demonstration farm, a testing ground for new farming methods and crops never before grown in the valley.
Ansokia belongs to World Vision. Ask any member of the village, and that is what you'll hear. We belong to each other.
What you may not realize is that Ethiopia's physical size might not stand out on a map, but its population is surprisingly large. And as with many African nations, especially at the time, they relied on subsistence farming and burning trees for fuel. This can be a recipe for disaster, as deforestation can upset a fragile natural environment and lead to catastrophic famine as the land is depleted. The crisis was exacerbated by government policies at the time. There was a policy of moving rural farmers into more centralized villages. The stated intention was to improve access to education and healthcare, but the move put farmers in lands where they were unfamiliar, and it disrupted the critical time periods of planting and harvests that year. The early warning systems developed after the 1980s famine, like the Famine Early Warning Systems Network, helped prevent future famines from reaching such catastrophic levels. Live Aid didn't just raise money. It created a new model for humanitarian response. It showed that media coverage, celebrity activism, and experienced NGOs could work together to address global crises. But it all started when World Vision's leadership was willing to give up precious cargo space to carry journalists to a war zone. Because sometimes the most powerful weapon against suffering isn't food or medicine, it's the truth.